25 vintage appliances we need. What if the most brilliant kitchen inventions weren't new, but forgotten? From wood-fired stoves to multi-use marvels like the Thor combo washer, these vintage gadgets were years ahead of their time. Join us as we rediscover clever, charming appliances that prove the past might have done it better. The Telebar. Step into a 1950s living room and you might spot what looks like an ordinary wooden cabinet in the corner. But open it up and you'd reveal something truly extraordinary. The Telebar, the ultimate all-in-one entertainment system of its day. This wasn't just furniture, it was a full-on lifestyle upgrade. The Telebar brought together everything a mid-century host could dream of. First, a built-in console television, perfect for watching news, variety shows, or the big game. Second, a top-tier stereo system to spin your favorite vinyl records, filling the room with rich, warm sound. And finally, the showstopper, a sleek built-in bar, complete with compartments for liquor, glassware, and mixers. With the Telebar, you didn't just entertain, you impressed. Whether you were having friends over for cocktails or spending a cozy night watching TV with the family, it delivered elegance and function in one stylish package. Colorful vintage refrigerators. Today's refrigerators tend to blend quietly into the background. Sleek stainless steel, matte black, or crisp white. Practical, sure. But where's the personality? Back in the day, refrigerators were anything but boring. They came in an eye-catching array of colors that turned the kitchen into a lively, stylish hub of the home. Think beyond the burnt oranges and avocado greens of the 1970s, though those were definitely iconic. Vintage fridges once came in everything from baby blue and mint green to pale pink and sunshine yellow. Some even had chrome accents or glossy finishes that added a dash of glamour. These weren't just appliances, they were part of the decor. Bold, expressive, and undeniably fun. Homeowners could choose a fridge that matched their cabinets, complemented their wallpaper, or simply made them smile. It was a time when color and function lived hand in hand. Maybe it's time we brought that spirit back into modern kitchens, because who says appliances have to be dull? Electric can opener with knife sharpener. Before frozen dinners took over, canned goods ruled the pantry, and that meant every kitchen needed a trusty can opener. But while manual openers got the job done, the electric can opener of yesteryear brought a whole new level of ease and style to food prep. These weren't just about convenience, they were multitasking marvels. Many of these vintage models had a sleek chrome body and came with a built-in knife sharpener tucked neatly on the side. That meant while you were opening beans for chili or peaches for dessert, you could also give your dull kitchen knives a quick, satisfying tune-up. You'd hear that steady grinding noise and know your blade was back in business. If you ever spent time in your mom or grandma's kitchen, you probably remember this gadget humming away on the counter. It didn't just open cans, it helped create stews, soups, and casseroles that brought the family together. A small appliance, yes, but with a big role in mealtime memories. Wall-mounted refrigerator. Now here's a vintage idea that's just begging for a revival. The wall-mounted refrigerator. Yep, you heard that right. A fridge that doesn't sit on the floor but hangs right on your kitchen wall. Sounds futuristic? Not really. It's actually a clever old-school design that makes so much sense, it's hard to believe it ever went out of style. Think about it. No more bending over just to find your leftovers or that jar of pickles hiding in the back. Everything is right there, at eye level. It saves your back and your time. Plus, it makes organizing your food a whole lot easier. And let's talk cleaning. Since it's off the ground, there's no need to wrestle with a mop trying to reach under it. Spills? Way easier to clean than those deep, clunky floor models we're all used to. So why haven't we seen a modern version? Who knows? But maybe it's time we hang one up again. Literally. Gourmet salad chopper set. At first glance, you might mistake this thing for an ancient relic, or maybe something from a medieval torture chamber, but don't be alarmed. This oddly shaped gadget is actually a vintage gourmet salad chopper set, once a staple in many kitchens. It might be forgotten today, but back then it was the go-to tool for chopping lettuce quickly and efficiently. The design was simple but clever. A sturdy wooden block with a shallow bowl-shaped dip cradled the lettuce perfectly. You'd place a full head of greens right into that hollow and then go to work with a curved half-moon blade. With a rocking motion, you'd chop the leaves down to bite-sized perfection. It was quiet, satisfying, and surprisingly therapeutic. This wasn't just about making dinner, it was a stress reliever after a long day. You got your salad and a little tension release all in one. Who needs a punching bag when you've got a salad chopper like this? Vintage salad spinner. Don't let its toy-like look fool you. This charming little contraption had a real purpose in the kitchen. The vintage salad spinner, often found in soft mint greens or cheerful creamsicle oranges, was more than just a pretty face on the counter. It was the go-to tool for drying freshly washed lettuce, spinach, and other leafy greens, long before fancy digital appliances took over. But what really made it memorable was how it brought families together. Instead of being a chore, spinning salad became a game. Kids were often handed the crank and told to give it their all, sitting cross-legged on the floor, laughing as the bowl spun faster and faster. It wasn't just meal prep, it was an experience. These old-school spinners didn't plug in or beep. They just worked, relying on simple motion and a little muscle. In a world now full of high-tech gadgets, this manual marvel reminds us how even the simplest tools could make kitchen time special. Did your parents or grandparents own any of these vintage appliances? Share your favorite memory. Naxon Beanery. Long before the crock-pot became a kitchen staple, there was the Naxon Beanery, the original slow cooker that quietly changed how families prepared meals. Invented by Irving Naxon, this humble-looking device was inspired by his Lithuanian grandmother's traditional bean soup, which required hours of gentle simmering to develop its rich, comforting flavor. Naxon's brilliant idea? Create an electric pot that could mimic that same slow, steady heat without tying you to the stove. The Beanery allowed home cooks to prepare stews, soups, and braised dishes with incredible ease. Just plug it in, add your ingredients, and let it work its magic. No fuss, no flames, no watching the pot. It brought slow, wholesome cooking into the modern kitchen, making it perfect for working parents or busy households. In 1971, the design was bought and rebranded as the crock pot, and from there it skyrocketed in popularity. Vintage ice crusher. In the swinging 1950s, cocktail hour was a cherished ritual, and every stylish home bar had one secret weapon: the vintage ice crusher. This charming little gadget, often made with sleek chrome finishes and colorful plastic handles, turned ordinary ice cubes into the crushed perfection needed for classic drinks like whiskey sours, mojitos, and Tom Collins cocktails. But it wasn't just the adults who loved it. Kids found their own fun, too, using the crushed ice to jazz up a glass of orange juice, chill a soda, or simply cool down on a hot summer day. Turning the handle and watching the cubes crumble into snowy chunks was part of the experience, equal parts useful and entertaining. Unlike today's automatic fridge dispensers, the manual ice crusher had personality. It made drink making feel hands-on and personal. Whether on the kitchen counter or a retro bar cart, this little tool added style and flair to any home. And honestly, crushed ice never tasted quite as cool. Portable countertop dishwasher. For anyone living in a small apartment or renting a place without a built-in dishwasher, the portable countertop dishwasher is a total game changer. Compact, efficient, and renter-friendly, this little workhorse sits right on your kitchen counter and does exactly what a full-sized dishwasher does, without the installation hassle. No drilling, no permanent hookups, just connect it to your faucet, load it up with plates, glasses, and silverware, and press start. When it's done, you simply disconnect it, dry it off, and tuck it away. It's a smart, space-saving solution for anyone tired of hand-washing piles of dishes after every meal. Despite its small size, it's surprisingly powerful. It handles daily dish loads with ease, making it perfect for singles, couples, or small families. And in today's world where flexibility and portability are key, this retro-inspired appliance is a practical gem that deserves way more attention. Retractable Stovetop. Imagine a sleek, clutter-free kitchen where your stovetop disappears at the push of a hand. Welcome to the world of the retractable stovetop. Back in the day, this was seen as a futuristic solution for small kitchens. These electric cooktops could slide effortlessly into a drawer-like compartment, freeing up valuable counter space when not in use. They came in a rainbow of mid-century hues, adding flair and function to the modern home. But while the concept was genius, the execution left something to be desired. Over time, the slide mechanisms often became stiff, jammed, or just plain broke. What started as a space-saving wonder quickly turned into a clunky eyesore sticking halfway out of the cabinet. Still, it's hard not to admire the ambition behind the idea. With today's advances in engineering and hardware durability, it might just be time for a reboot. Imagine a modern version, silent, smooth gliding, and reliable. In an age where tiny homes and micro apartments are booming, the retractable stovetop might just be due for a second chance. All-in-one kitchen unit. Now here's a vintage marvel that looked like the future but never quite made it. The all-in-one kitchen unit combined a refrigerator, stove, and sink into a single compact setup. Sounds like a dream for tiny living, right? And yet, most people have never seen one outside of a design catalog or retro ad. Picture it. Instead of squeezing a bulky fridge, a separate stove, and a sink into a cramped apartment or RV, you'd have one streamlined unit doing it all. Cook dinner, wash dishes, and store leftovers, all without taking a single step. It's the ultimate space saver and a practical choice for minimalists or small home dwellers. Sure, it probably wasn't the most energy efficient or easy to repair, which might explain why it didn't take off. But the idea itself? Brilliant. With today's focus on compact living and efficiency, maybe it's time we dust off this concept and give the all-in-one kitchen unit a second shot at success. Tappan Fabulous 400 Stove. In the golden age of kitchen innovation, few appliances lived up to their name quite like the Tappan Fabulous 400. This mid-century marvel wasn't just a stove. It was a beautifully designed, space-saving solution that made home cooking feel smoother and smarter. What set it apart? A built-in wooden cutting board that cleverly covered the burners when not in use. With this feature, prepping and cooking became part of the same seamless workflow. Need to chop onions, slice a roast, or prep veggies? Do it right there on the built-in board. When you were ready to cook, just slide the board aside and you were instantly at the stove. No need to shuffle ingredients across the counter or carry dripping cutting boards across the room. It wasn't just practical, it was stylish too. The Tappan Fabulous 400 brought elegance and efficiency to the kitchen long before today's minimalist trends. Do you think modern kitchen tools have lost their charm compared to these classics? Vintage dual-level breakfast griddle. If you're lucky enough to have one of these tucked away in your kitchen, or maybe inherited it from a parent or grandparent, you're holding a true gem of culinary history. This vintage dual-level breakfast griddle was a brilliant little invention built for one purpose: making the perfect breakfast, all in one go. The top surface was your flapjack station, sizzling up golden, fluffy pancakes to perfection. But the real magic was in the drawer just below. That hidden compartment lets you cook bacon strips or sausages at the same time, catching the drippings while keeping the meat juicy and crisp. Everything cooked evenly, stayed hot, and was ready to serve together. No cold eggs while waiting on the bacon, and no greasy stovetop mess to clean up. In an age before fancy air fryers and smart kitchen gadgets, this little powerhouse brought simplicity and charm to morning meals. Snow-melting flame gun. Now here's a vintage winter tool that sounds almost too wild to be real: the snow-melting flame gun. Yes, you heard that right. Instead of grabbing a shovel or waiting for the sun to work its slow magic, homeowners in snowy regions once had the option of blasting snow and ice away with a handheld flamethrower-style device. Just ignite it and aim. Like something out of a sci-fi movie, the snow disappeared in seconds. While definitely not a kitchen appliance, it still earned its place in the household arsenal. After all, what good is preparing a warm, home-cooked meal if no one can make it to your front door through the snow? This flame gun took the back-breaking work out of clearing driveways and walkways, making winter mornings quicker and a whole lot warmer. And let's not forget its off-season potential. When summer rolled around, it could light your fire pit in a flash or become the star of your backyard cookout, roasting marshmallows with serious flair. Bold, bizarre, and undeniably effective. Manual coffee grinders. Long before electric buzz and automation took over the kitchen, the manual coffee grinder brought a quiet kind of joy to morning routines. With just a handful of beans and a few smooth turns of the crank, this classic tool transformed whole beans into a fresh, fragrant grind, right at your fingertips. There was something deeply satisfying about the process. You'd pour the beans into the top, feel the steady resistance of the burrs as they crushed the beans, and breathe in that rich aroma that signaled the perfect start to the day. No noise, no rush, just a slow, steady ritual that made your coffee feel earned. And unlike electric grinders that often leave you with inconsistent results, manual grinders offered total control. You could fine-tune the grind to match your brewing style, whether it was a coarse French press or a fine espresso. Compact, durable, and beautifully nostalgic, the manual coffee grinder reminds us that sometimes slowing down is the best part of the brew. Rotary Egg Beaters. Before electric mixers became a kitchen standard, the rotary egg beater was the go-to tool for home bakers everywhere. Simple, sturdy, and surprisingly effective, this hand-cranked gadget turned everyday tasks like whipping eggs or mixing batter into a satisfying, hands-on experience. With each turn of the handle, its twin beaters would spin quickly, creating smooth, fluffy mixtures perfect for pancakes, cakes, or creamy sauces. What made the rotary beater so beloved wasn't just its function, it was its ease. No cords, no outlets, and no noise. Just a compact, easy-to-clean design you could rinse off and store in a drawer. It was always within reach, ready to jump in when inspiration struck. In today's world where energy conservation and sustainable living are gaining traction, the rotary egg beater feels more relevant than ever. It's a charming reminder that sometimes the old ways still work beautifully, and let's be honest, there's real joy in mixing by hand, feeling the rhythm and creating something from scratch. Butter churns. Before butter came neatly wrapped in sticks from the supermarket, the butter churn was a treasured fixture in kitchens across the country. This humble device turned heavy cream into rich, golden butter through nothing more than patience and elbow grease. Whether it was a hand-cranked barrel or a plunger-style churn, the process was slow, steady, and oddly satisfying. There was a rhythm to it. Pour in the cream, churn until your arms ached, and wait for the magic moment when liquid gave way to soft, creamy butter. It wasn't just about making food, it was about connection. To the ingredients, to the moment, to the generations before you who did it the same way. Fresh churned butter had a taste and texture that store-bought brands still can't match. No preservatives, no fillers. Just pure, flavorful richness. And if you wanted to get fancy, you could add herbs or just the right touch of salt. With the modern push toward natural, homemade, and mindful eating, maybe it's time to dust off the butter churn and rediscover that magic by hand. Rotary dial telephones. Before smartphones fit in our pockets and speed dial was just a tap away, the rotary dial telephone ruled the home. These solid mechanical marvels required you to slow down, placing each finger carefully into the dial, spinning it to the stop, and waiting for it to return before moving on to the next number. Every call felt deliberate and somehow a little more personal. There was no instant gratification, no scrolling, no apps, no redial button. But what you got in return was unmatched reliability. These phones were built like tanks. Drop one on the floor. It might crack the tile, but it wouldn't crack. No batteries to recharge, no software to update. Just a crystal clear connection and a steady hum of old-school dependability. What's one old-school appliance you still use or wish you never got rid of? Icebox. Long before the low hum of modern refrigerators became part of everyday life, the trusty Icebox kept kitchens cool and food fresh. These heavy wooden cabinets, often lined with tin or zinc, use nothing more than a massive block of ice to preserve perishables. It wasn't high-tech, but it was smart, and it worked. Ice delivery was a regular routine. The Iceman would drop off a fresh block, which homeowners would place in the upper compartment. As the ice slowly melted, cold air would circulate through the cabinet, keeping milk, butter, meats, and produce chilled, just enough to last a few days. But the Icebox wasn't just practical, it was beautiful. With rich wood grain, polished hardware, and solid craftsmanship, it looked more like a fine piece of furniture than an appliance. It quietly blended into the heart of the home. Though more labor-intensive than modern refrigerators, the Icebox had a timeless charm. And for off-grid homes or vintage-loving decorators, it's a relic worth remembering and maybe even reviving. Cast iron waffle iron. There's nothing quite like a waffle made in an old-fashioned cast iron waffle iron. These heavy-duty tools created waffles with deep golden pockets, crisp edges, and a soft, fluffy center. Exactly how a real waffle should taste. Unlike today's lightweight non-stick electric models, these classics distributed heat evenly and held it beautifully, giving every square that irresistible crunch. Built to last for generations, cast iron waffle irons didn't peel or wear out. Instead, they got better over time. With each use, they developed a natural, non-stick surface, just like your favorite cast iron skillet. No synthetic coatings, no mystery chemicals, just good old-fashioned cooking. They required a little more effort and attention, sure. But in return, you got unbeatable flavor and the satisfaction of doing things the traditional way. Whether placed over a stove or nestled into a campfire, these waffle irons delivered breakfast magic every time. Vintage flip-down door toaster oven. Before toasters had digital screens and dozens of presets you never use, there was the vintage flip-down door toaster oven. A kitchen classic that kept things refreshingly simple. No apps, no touchscreens, no confusing menus. Just a couple of dials, a flip-down door, and dependable performance. These little ovens were built like tanks. Made with solid materials and designed for everyday use, many lasted for decades, far longer than most modern models today. Whether you were toasting bread, baking a small batch of cookies, or reheating leftovers, these trusty appliances handled it all with ease. The flip-down door made access simple and convenient, and the manual controls meant you didn't need a user manual just to warm up a slice of pizza. You turned the knob, watched the timer tick, and enjoyed food toasted just the way you liked it. Hand crank wringer washer. Long before buttons and touchscreens took over laundry day, the hand crank wringer washer was the trusted tool in homes across the country. This simple all-mechanical machine featured a sturdy wash tub and a hand-turned wringer that squeezed out excess water with a few rotations of the crank. It didn't just clean clothes, it gave you a mini workout in the process. Though it may seem old-fashioned, the wringer washer still holds a special place in the hearts of homesteaders, off-grid families, and anyone craving a low-tech backup. With no electricity needed, it's perfect for cabins, emergencies, or sustainable living. Plus, it's built like a tank. No digital panels to malfunction, no sensors to confuse you. Just you, the crank, and clean clothes at the end of it. Even better, it uses significantly less water than modern machines, making it a surprisingly eco-friendly option. Thank you for watching. To continue with more content, comment 1 to let us know you're still following. Soda siphon. Once a centerpiece of home bars and elegant cocktail parties, the soda siphon was both a practical tool and a stylish statement. With its sleek glass and metal design, this vintage gem turned ordinary water into sparkling soda with just a quick twist of a CO2 cartridge. The result? Crisp, bubbly refreshment, perfect on its own or as a mixer in your favorite cocktail. Soda siphons brought a touch of class to the table, whether you were entertaining guests or just enjoying a fizzy drink after dinner. Unlike today's bulky carbonators, these were compact, easy to store, and undeniably chic. Plus, they gave you control over the fizz, more bubbles for spritzers, less for a mellow soda, And long before sustainability became a household word, these siphons were already doing their part. No need for wasteful plastic bottles or cans, just refill, recharge, and reuse. Hand crank ice cream maker. Long before electric machines and store-bought pints filled the freezer, the hand crank ice cream maker was the star of summertime. This old-fashioned device turned a few basic ingredients into creamy homemade magic, right in your backyard or kitchen. It wasn't just about dessert, it was an experience. The process was simple and satisfying. A metal canister held your ice cream base, maybe vanilla, strawberry, or rich chocolate, while ice and rock salt surrounded it to lower the temperature. Then came the fun part, the cranking. Family members took turns turning the handle, feeling the resistance grow as the mixture thickened into that perfect, scoopable consistency. It took patience, yes, but that made the reward even sweeter. And unlike store-bought tubs, this method let you control every detail, from the amount of sugar to your favorite mix-ins. Fresh fruit, cookie chunks, or swirls of caramel? You made it your way. Hand crank popcorn maker. Before microwaves took over the snack scene, the hand crank popcorn maker was the heart of every movie night. These stovetop marvels made the popcorn experience feel like an event. You'd pour in the kernels, add a touch of oil, and start cranking. The motion kept everything moving, ensuring even heat and minimizing those dreaded burned bits. But it wasn't just about the popcorn, it was about the process. That rhythmic turning, the building anticipation, and the sudden burst of popping sounds brought a kind of joy you just don't get from pressing a microwave button. It was hands-on, it was fun, and it filled the kitchen with the warm, buttery scent of fresh popcorn. Best of all, it lets you call the shots. Want extra butter? Go for it. Sweet caramel? Toss it in. Spicy cheese dust? No problem. No single-use bags, no artificial flavors. Just real popcorn, made your way. This nostalgic tool turned a simple snack into a shared experience worth savoring. Wood-fired cook stove. Before gas lines and digital stovetops, the wood-fired cook stove was the true heart of the home. These rugged, all-in-one workhorses did more than just cook. They baked bread, boiled water, dried damp clothes, and filled the kitchen with a comforting warmth that no modern appliance can replicate. Cooking on one of these stoves wasn't just about feeding the family, it was a full-on experience. You had to build a fire, tend it carefully, and adjust the vents to control the heat. There were no knobs or digital timers, just instinct, experience, and the crackle of burning wood, guiding every dish. And yet, the payoff was worth it. Slow-simmered stews, perfectly baked pies, and roasted meats with unbeatable depth of flavor. Made of solid cast iron, these stoves were built to last, and many did, passed down through generations. They weren't just appliances, they were the soul of the kitchen. Thor Dishwasher-Washing Machine. In the tight quarters of 1940s homes, every inch of space mattered. That's where the Thor Dishwasher-Washing Machine came in. A brilliant dual-purpose appliance that combined laundry day and dish duty into one sleek machine. It wasn't just a time saver, it was a space-saving superhero. This innovative unit started off as a washing machine, handling everything from dresses to delicate undergarments. Once the clothes were clean and out, all it took was a simple component swap to convert it into a dishwasher. Suddenly, it was ready to take on the stack of dinner plates, silverware, and even wine glasses, all without moving the unit an inch. For small homes and apartments, it was a game changer. Instead of crowding the kitchen and laundry area with two big machines, the Thor did it all in one compact footprint. It was practical, efficient, and way ahead of its time. Even today, with multifunctional design on the rise, the Thor stands out as a pioneering piece of household brilliance. Ronson Can Opener. At first glance, the Ronson Can Opener looked like your standard kitchen tool, but don't let that fool you. This clever gadget was so much more than a one-trick pony. In fact, it was more like a Swiss Army knife for your countertop, tackling multiple kitchen tasks with a simple swap of attachments. Sure, it opened cans with ease, but once that job was done, the real fun began. Pop off the opener and snap on the whisk. Suddenly you're whipping cream or mixing cake batter like a pro. Need to mash potatoes for dinner? There's an attachment for that too. And when breakfast rolled around, the scrambler made prepping eggs quicker and easier than ever. The Ronson Can Opener was all about efficiency and versatility, wrapped in a sleek, space-saving design. It saved time, cleared clutter, and added a futuristic flair to mid-century kitchens. Which of these vintage gadgets do you wish would make a comeback? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this nostalgic journey, don't forget to subscribe and check out more from Past Not Past. Thanks for watching and keep the memories alive.